Okay, so on Attack of the Show, my man Kevin was talking about Wikipedia and how it's not, or not my man Kevin, but the guys that were talking with Kevin, they're talking about Wikipedia, and they're saying that, we got to be careful because of information which we value and which we think is important. It's going to be written. It'll be miscommunicated, and that we need to be careful of that because we're going to mislead ourselves and each other, through this. So we don't want to do that. But at the same time, or they say that we have to be careful because there's worry. The reason why there's worry for it. Sorry about that. I'm an explosion of ideas again. But the reason why we're concerned for that is because Wikipedia is the information source for the masses, and the reason why is because not everybody can get themselves to an encyclopedia. But when you have that readily available source of knowledge, it's really good to have that there. It really is, it communicates to the public, to the people, and that's what people like. And that's why people are going to use it. And that's why Wikipedia is going to gain such a, really well-established place in our society, especially our technologically advancing society. What's going to happen, and that's why we're seeing the rise of these new words. And the reason why we have new words is because there's a new term. There's a new object that is being represented, conceptually. And the way you do that is through language. Through language, you're going to be able to. Everybody's going to understand what you're communicating to everybody else. And when you say that, because it's a noun, you represent it in your mind. Even though it's the internet, even though it's this baseless, non-physical thing, it's kind of physical because it's the website. It's basically a program that you can access. That's what that's what the websites are becoming now. They're becoming programs you can access. From any place. So that way you need less, or you can require less and have less on your computer, because you're simply just accessing the internet, which, like I said, it's going to create a, program. So with Wikipedia, you have access to, you're accessing information, and the information is, run by committee. It's run by the public, the public. So it is what the public accepts of information. Now, where it's going to run into problems is that, that means everybody can have their own opinion about things, and they can change things, and it's even like, just slight variations of the wording that can be problems as well. But at the same time, I think that, you can have that, but because it's free information, you do want to, instill some safeguards, but that's understood as well. And the reason why I have these safeguards is because, you really want to make sure that everybody has a safe and, fair means. So it becomes a the United States is a democratic republic, so for Wikipedia it's going to become, democratically republic in information, you could say. It's, you basically, you have to filter it, but you have to control it. And that's how you direct the energy of a society. That's why in the American society we have currency. Currency is literally, and the government controls things through currency. That's what, in the United States, and what guys realize, we control things through currency. Whereas in Europe, they were controlling things through physical and through oaths and religion. But currency is you back it up with the government. You have "In God We Trust" on the currency as well. But it's basically that means that the money has value to you. And that's why they don't like you burning money, because it means you're destroying it. And so you can, if you destroy money, you can hurt the economy in various ways. Because if you take it out. Because the more money you take out, the less people can exchange money. Exchange money with each other. The less they can exchange money with each other, that meant that they couldn't exchange. They would have to go to barter in goods because they would only have so much money. Or that if you can't break dollars down, so inflation was always worked into it as well. I'm sorry, this is crazy relation to it, but it's the analogy of currency to Wikipedia, and the reason why you have these two things is. So Wikipedia is going to become currency because it's information. Information is currency. That's how people are going to exchange it. You post your idea, your thought on it, and people can respond. And it's either adding to or taking away. So it's currency. That's why message boards, are the same way. That's how you can relate to other people through message boards. Is that it's currency. It's information that the two of you are exchanging. So. I guess in a weird way, that's why I like giving out my currency. I like giving out my ideas, and sharing with people, because I really feel that what I'm doing is I'm enlightening my fellows. I'm enlightening my, in a way I have an audience but it's an audience that I'm, sitting in a circle of chairs with. That's how I see everybody. And it's just, unfortunately, whenever you get that in a real life situation, people are going to drown each other out because people are going to speak more. But I feel this is a much more egalitarian and respectful way to express myself, because that allows me to basically say as much as I want, but I only get to say it once. That's what I try to do. That's why I don't try to multiple posts and stuff like that on the forums. But this Borg-like mentality, that's what really got me about it. That's what I'm an explosion of ideas about, is because you look at this idea that, what were the Borg? The Borg were a hive mentality. They spoke with one voice, and that's what Star Trek: The Next Generation is so good about, is that they can really approach some ideas through a theoretical and philosophical approach. The result is the Borg, and that the way Star Trek was explained to me, by the way. So I feel like I'm a professor when I'm doing this, because I realize I'm addressing the world, but at the same time I'm addressing my peers, or people that may know me, or people that are subscribing, and a few people that view this stuff. And that's why so when I do this, I really honestly feel that I have to be eloquent, I have to be concise and thorough, and that because I'm presenting my information to the world, this is my currency to the world that I'm giving out. I want to elevate my fellow man. I want everybody to just gain some intelligence or some insight or some knowledge, through what I'm expressing, my own thoughts. And call me crazy in a weird way, because that's what poets were in old days. That's what people who wrote stuff in pamphlets, and who Wordsworth and a little bit about Edgar Allan Poe is later. But before Poe, there was this chain of poets, of guys who were just writing about stuff. There's Percy, there's Bush, there's Shelley, Shelley. There was just a number of English poets, and they wrote this stuff for people to read. And it wasn't so much to, some people use poets or poetry and lyrics and writing of things to inspire motivation in people and to make them think a certain way. What I intend to do is, to motivate my fellow public, but through my words and my ideas, and through my logical reasonings too. So in a way, this is my own form of poetry to the world. That I, as so my BA in English, and my understanding of philosophy, and my background in linguistics and anthropology, all my knowledge of history, my studies of sociology and psychology. This is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to help the world, and help my fellow man, and my countrymen, my nation, and my community, and anyone who I can touch, who I can affect positively through this medium. That's what I want. That's what I'm trying to achieve. So I hope that all you guys listening, by the way, this is just the one negative thing I'm imploring of you. Spread the word of me. If you feel that I'm right and I'm logical, or that at least I encourage you to thought. Because, in some ways, if you're watching this, I would not mind if you started carrying on a conversation as if I was, speaking to you. Because what that means is that you are engaging the thoughts that that I'm laying, or that I'm displaying before you. And that by doing that, I'm making you think, and I'm making you understand things that may be outside of your realm, that you may not agree with either. I don't expect everybody to agree with me. There are people who I don't like listening to, or I don't agree with, but I listen to them anyways, because you have to know your enemy if you want to defeat your enemy. So it's kind of one thing, but also you want to know your friends, right? You want to know who, if this is a person who thinks that they are so important that they feel they have to speak, then allow that person to speak. And what I mean by that is that when I'm around my father, I become very quiet. And I always notice this too. Whenever it's me, my father, and then somebody else, my father does a lot of the talking. And then every once in a while I will speak, But it's kind of like, it's a respectful thing, especially if it's important. I let my father do a lot of speaking. And the reason why is because I understand that he's imparting knowledge in some way. I mean, sometimes he's cracking jokes, sometimes he's just saying whatever. A lot of times it's just that he knows more than me. He's a bit more in the hip about it.